Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my daily news analysis channel here. My name is Nidhi, and I am here to simplify the complex problems, complex current affairs which are going on in the news. Here on this channel, we discuss various things from polity to law to geography to economics, geopolitical situation, and many more things. And today, in this video, I would like to discuss about something very important. I know I'm little bit late in order to post this video, but today I really want to talk about it. The topic is right to die. So on March 11, 2026, Supreme Court gave a very good judgment. It was a very surprising judgment where Supreme Court gave the permission to die to a 31-year-old person named Harish Rana. Supreme Court allowed for passive euthanasia, and this judgment, this case, that is Harish Rana versus Union of India case, has raised many questions about right to die, euthanasia, whether we should living will, whether we should tell people that what to do when somebody dies, how to take decision on these topics. Today I would like to talk about that. So let me tell you that this case has only one question, and let me explain it through a story, right? So imagine you are a very healthy person. You're a healthy person. Your life is running smoothly. One day you met with an accident, and that accident leads you to coma for many years. This shocks your family. It is a financial burden for your loved ones, emotional burden for your children's parents, spouse, brothers, sisters, and for you also. Doctors are saying that you can listen, you can feel everything, but you cannot respond to anything. Now, this state where you can feel, you can see, you can sense each and everything, but you cannot respond it. You're lying on a bed, and your daily life cycle is you just sleep, you wakes up, you sleep, you wakes up, and the cycle continues for many years. The food is given to you through tubes. You're living with the help of machines. Your family is praying for your recovery, for your growth, for your well-being. You're hearing everything, you're witnessing everything, but you cannot respond to their voices. You cannot respond to them. You cannot even lift your finger. Imagine this state. Now, this state in science is called a vegetative state, a passive vegetative state. Imagine your loved ones. Imagine yourself in this passive vegetative state. If somebody of your family is in this PVS state, and a question is in front of you, whether we should continue this state cycle or we should let him die peacefully, because it is a very painful process for that person, for the concerned person also. What is your course of action? That person is not in the sense to take their decision on your own, to give their consent whether we should die, whether I should die or not. You are the sole person. You are the person who decides his fate. You are the person who decides whether he should die or he should live with the support, with the life support system. What would you do in this case? Now, the same question comes in front of Harish Rana's father. Harish Rana belongs to Uttar Pradesh. He was 19-year-old B.Tech student when he met with an accident. He basically fell off from the fourth state of building, and he went into coma. For 13 years, he stayed in coma. And his father filed a petition to let his son die peacefully. Imagine the pain, the curiosity that his father was feeling at that time when he was asking in front of the Honorable Supreme Court about to let his son die peacefully. You are the judge who has a decision in his head whether to give the consent or not. And this case forms a new right. It gives the application of a new right in India, that is right to die. Supreme Court finally gave the permission, and Harish Rana finally went to abode heaven peacefully. But this episode has raised a lot of questions in everyone's mind. What to do in such scenario? If somebody, God forbid, if somebody stuck in this situation, what does law says about it? What we should do? What should be the course of action? Whether this decision is right? What are the philosophical angle associated with it? So today, let us discuss this. Okay. So here, when I was narrating you the whole episode, the whole story, a one word was commonly coming, that is euthanasia. Euthanasia. And in news also, euthanasia, passive euthanasia is legalized in India. So what does it mean to be a euthanasia? So basically, euthanasia is derived from a Greek word which means good death. Good death. A Greek word, good death. It is the practice of intentionally ending life to eliminate pain or suffering. In Indian Puranic time, it is known as Niyog, and many other in Mahabharata also, in Ramayana also, in many our Indian historical mythologies, they have the mention of euthanasia, where the person willingly leaves his body. But the question is not that here the main question is not that it's the consent of the consent is not in the concerned hand. Let's say if I am on the coma bed, I am not able to decide whether I should leave, whether I should die, or whether I should continue with the medical treatment. My relatives have to decide whether they should let me live on the medical treatment or whether I should die. The decision is on them. The decision is in their hand. My role is nowhere anywhere. So what should I do in this case? This is the major question, which is a very common question, which is a widely global question in many countries. It is be Belgium, Netherlands, England, South Africa, Australia. They have legalized euthanasia in their country. That is passive euthanasia. So euthanasia is of two kinds. That is active euthanasia and passive euthanasia. Now the word active euthanasia is telling you that it is an act of doing something. It means that you're giving some lethal injection or something to that person to die. That is active euthanasia. And let me tell you, it is not legalized in many countries. But passive euthanasia, it means that you're just simply removing the support system, like refusal of treatment, withdrawal of life support system. That is passive euthanasia. And in India, it is valid, it is legal. So how does we came to the conclusion that whether we should live or not, whether that passive euthanasia is illegal? Which Supreme Court judgment gave this? Harish Rana case is not the very first case in India which gives passive euthanasia a legal right in the country. Three cases have been done, three hearings have been done, which gives us which already gave the passive euthanasia as a valid treatment. Let me take you in the year 2011. In the year 2011, there was a case known as Arun Sambhave versus Union of India 2011. This is the very first case where the passive euthanasia is legalized in India. This is the first case which comes in the front of Supreme Court about the right to die, where a woman was asking to die. Arun Sambhanave was a nurse in a hospital where she was brutally sexually assaulted by his fellow members, and she went into coma for 42 years. Imagine, for 42 years she lived in coma, and finally she get euthanasia, and finally she died, right? Later on, there was a one case which is known as Common Cause versus Union of India 2018, which gives the very much concept of living will. What does it mean to be living will? This Supreme Court judgment gave the concept of living will in the case of right to die case. So living will is basically a legal document which has when, let's say, if I have to make my living will, so I will go to the lawyer. I tell him that I want to make my living will. So in the living will is basically a legal document where I'm telling to the court or the government of India or the concerned authority that how I should, if I will go into this in passive vegetative stage in this such kind of a situation, so what should be the course of action, where I will specify who will take my decision on their behalf, where I will tell them what will be the course of action, whether I should continue with the treatment or whether I should die, or whether the concerned person whom I am giving the permission that he will let me die peacefully, where I will specify this. This is known as living will, and you can make it. Later on, this Common Cause versus Union of India year 2018, it also tells you the some procedures which is required in order to get it done. Because you see, a procedure is required. You can't just simply go to the hospital and tell them, okay, I want to die. No, there's something, a procedure is there. So in order to administer passive euthanasia in India, there are some conditions which where this case that known as Common Cause versus Union of India 2018 tells us about the patient must be in passive vegetative state. It means that he is living on the life support system. He cannot eat, he cannot drink anything, he cannot respond to any other to stimulus. He just listens and nothing else. That is known as PVS system. And he must have a living will, and it should be advised by a medical board. A medical board, but the first one board which will be made at a hospital level, and another one at a district collector level. And all the persons who are sitting in the board, they must have the experience of 20 years in terms of medical and ethical field. And also you have to sign that particular document in front of a judicial magistrate, and a copy must be there for all. In case if any problem arises out, you must have a copy, a judicial copy of it. But in this case, in this Harish Rana case, there was no living will. What we should do? That is why his father went to the Supreme Court, and this is the case, the first case where the passive euthanasia was practically applied. So this case is very, very important, not because it gives the passive euthanasia a legal status, because a legal case status was already given in Arun Sambhave versus Union of India case, but this is the first case where the guidelines are applied, where the law is converted into real life application. This case basically addresses the confusion between withdrawal of artificial nutrition or feeding, and it acts amounting to active euthanasia also. That is why this case is very, very important, and it has triggered many eyebrows also. Let us talk about world. What is happening in the world regarding this field? So passive euthanasia, right to die, it is basically legalized in many countries: Switzerland, Belgium, Britain, Sweden, um, Australia. These are the few countries where the passive euthanasia is allowed. But on what states? Of course, the PVS, that is passive vegetative state, is among the first one where it is said. But in many cases, in countries, it is also allowed on the basis of mental dishealth. If a person is saying that, I'm suffering from mental, physically I'm fit, but mentally I'm disturbed and I want to die. In some countries, like in Switzerland, a person can practice it. But again, you have to take the permission from the medical board. So the question is, whenever this is the thing where, and this case is basically gives us the basic input that right to die is a fundamental right under Article 21. Article 21 talks about right to live and personal liberty. Among them, a new clause has added right to die peacefully. And we have seen the real life example of it. So whenever a person, if you're a concerned person who has to take decision on this, you must keep two things in your mind. You must see what should be the present condition of that concerned person, and also whether it is irreversible or it is beyond recovery. And also we should talk about treatment. What should be treatment? Will it sustain the life, or will it reduce it? Will it diminish it? Because this is a very important life. It's a matter of life and death, right? We all, our life is basically between this birth and the death matter only. It's a link between this birth and death. And here we are talking about death. It's an ultimate thing that a person that can happen in anybody else's life. And if you are the person who are in charge with the duty to basically take decision what to do in this situation, I would like to tell you that please keep two things in the mind: their present condition and the cause of treatment. What will the treatment do in such cases, in such scenarios? Because this will only help you to take a well-informed decision. Advaita philosophy, which is basically tells you about that, uh, instead of living with pain, is better to die peacefully. This was Advaita philosophy was saying. But many philosophies like Buddhist, Jainist philosophy, they basically talk something about else. It is their duty. They give the argument that it's the God which has given us the life, and only God has the power, should have the responsibility to take your life. You are not somebody, you cannot take your life. If you are taking your life on your own, you are doing a greatest sin in this world. This is what many philosophies believed in. It's a very critical question that we have to check upon. So let me tell you in the comment section what you feel about it. Till then, stay happy, stay safe. Bye bye.